Live and learn. Welcome to Season 2 of our weekly conversations about living, learning, teaching, and intercultural communication. We discuss cultural awareness and diversity, education and mentality, and we never really know where our talk will bring us in each episode. So, we just follow our curiosity and invite you to join us. I am in the flow every single moment.
Routines, otherwise, is something that becomes essential.
So that's again about teacher self-care very much, to a very big extent, and we cannot overestimate really how important teacher self-care is.
In this very way, it refers to not only teachers, not only learners, not only, this would refer to anyone who is caring about how they feel during the day and who is responsible for the performance.
Don't forget, you don't only learn, you live and learn. So take care of how you live, take care of how you learn. Hello! Happy New Week again!
Happy New Tuesday, I would even say. As you know, our podcast is available. Every new episode is available on Tuesday.
And so, new Tuesday, new week. What have you learned this week?
This week has been so far just so similar to the previous one. Dark, gray, a little bit cold, windy, rainy, making me want to go undercover and say, knock, knock, who's there? Nobody. How's your week been?
When I wake up every morning, it's still dark. But anyway, I start my day with my first cup of coffee, and then I go jogging. And so when I wake up, it feels a bit depressive and sad. But after the first cup of coffee, for me, life gets better. Then I go jogging and the morning starts, the day starts, and then I'm ready to go on with the lessons, with lesson preparation, with meeting people, and all that stuff. So having this good...
Hopefully meeting people. Choosing which color mask to wear today.
I've got 3 that I bought in Italy when I was on holiday there. They are handmade. I bought them from a wonderful Neapolitan lady who started making the masks in the beginning of the first lockdown in Italy. Her main aim, by the way, was to offer masks for kids because they were the ones who were most stressed with having to wear something on their face. It was so uncomfortable. And she started this line of masks for kids first, and then individual ones for adults, which all look beautiful. And I was so happy to buy 3 different masks from her. So first of all, it adds to the nostalgic feeling about going to Italy, and then I keep this piece of sunshine with me every day.
It's so beautiful when we have those little things that remind me of warm social contact, warm social reminiscence, memories, souvenirs. This emotional connection always helps to cheer up and always helps to feel somehow supported. Yeah, so that's a good idea. Actually, let's try and think what we can think of as the tips list how to survive through dark, rainy, windy, gray weather, and how to make your learning still efficient, how to make your teaching efficient, how to understand what to start your day with, and how to finish your day. Some kind of the life hacks, some kind of the neuroscience life hacks, emotional life hacks, mindfulness life hack. Eating, drinking habits, maybe they're kind of a way to go. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's dive into it.
As you know, I'm all for good routines. And as I said in the beginning, I start my day with my first cup of coffee and then I go jogging, and this is how my day starts. This is so encouraging to go to bed in the evening, hoping to wake up and do these first things in the morning. First of all, you don't have to think much what to do in the morning when you just wake up. You've already got these first routines that you start your day with. In terms of learning, if you can anchor to these first routines and, for example, start your day if you have breakfast first and watch a video in the language that you are learning at the same time. This is what I also did. Like, you watch a video in German while you have breakfast, or you may, I do that. I go jogging and I listen to podcasts in the languages that I'm learning. This is something that is easy to do, easy to organize, and this also helps to start your day in an efficient way in terms of good routines and learning. What about you?
I think the first thing that comes to my mind is the quality of sleep that I had overnight. So if I had my routine, which I normally I get into bed 10:30 maybe. So I have the magic number 2222 as an alarm that was set for over 7 years. I guess somewhere in the late university years and my first years of teaching. So I had this alarm because the next day I had the classes starting at 8 in the morning, and plus all the traffic that we had in our city, I really had to leave my apartment at around 10 past 7 in order to get to work by 8. And as you know, so if I had to leave 15 minutes later, that means I would be late for another hour and a half because the traffic was so unbelievable. So basically, what I did, I woke up earlier and I made myself a breakfast takeaway. So basically, I got prepared the breakfast, went through a very quick ride before the traffic starts, and had my breakfast at work with my favorite tea, with the breakfast I made myself, with the love and care that I'm able to give myself. And I was the very first one at the department. I had the time to have a breakfast, to have a cup of tea, to sort my materials, to sort out what I'm doing with my first, second class. And that was something very soothing because it was my decision not to spend 3 times more time in traffic while commuting, but in the same time just to have a long, nice, and warm breakfast. The quality of sleep right now is so basically the best scenario for the next morning is to start to go asleep at the time that is my routine. So when I understand that I did this, I can be sure, I can be now 80% sure that the morning will be fine, that I will have enough resource, enough energy the next day. What normally happens in the morning is that I do not start with the coffee. No, I'm not a coffee drinker, as you are. I start with a glass or two of water, and one of those glasses is normally with lemon. So I do think that it's the best way to start the body work is to have a glass of water with lemon, and then to have my, bathroom routine. And then when I make the breakfast, which I do believe should be one of the biggest meals during the day, It's very different in different cultures. It's very different in even in different families. But in our family, we have quite a big, large, substantial, full of protein, full of the carbohydrates breakfast with a full teapot of a very good Assam, which is my favorite morning tea. So this is something that I can make sure that I had a good sleep, good breakfast, lots of love and care, and my favorite tea that will start my day.
Do you ever combine your morning routines with preparation to learning or to teaching, getting some information?
No, I'm in the flow. If I'm getting my breakfast, I'm making my breakfast. If I'm eating my breakfast, I'm eating my breakfast. If I'm drinking my tea, I'm drinking my tea. No, I do not overlap. I really want to live this morning routine to get the most satisfaction from it, to get the most pleasure of having a great breakfast. Now, only when I had one or two, basically two cups of my tea. Then I can switch on the computer. I normally start with checking emails, trying to understand what happened overnight. So, how many people answered or made questions or wrote questions to our podcast, just to sort out some incoming things from the universities, and then getting ready to the course.
So anyway, this is one of the routines related to work, if I get it right. After you finish your breakfast, you start checking email and then get ready for your lessons.
Yep.
Do you believe routines are important in some way? To which extent are they important for teachers and for learners?
What COVID lockdown taught us, among other great things, but also sad things, is that when we are working from home, we making our own schedule, it's really important to have specific place for work, specific place for eating, specific place for sleeping, specific routine and time for each of the activities in order to have the psychological alignment, can I say so? To align psychologically what we do and how our environment responds. So I'm one of the opponents of the very idea that you take your handy or your computer in your bed. I try to keep these things separate. So I think that the very same thing I do not really like when we are having breakfast and there is any kind of media. Sleep is sleep, eating is eating, working is working. Routines, otherwise, is something that becomes essential in order to not freak us out completely when we do something chaotically. First we work, then we eat, then we sleep, then we forgot to go out, then we forgot jogging, or I don't know, forgot to get some grocery. So that becomes chaotic, and that very quickly becomes an issue, sometimes even mental issue, I guess, because it's very difficult to make those decisions every time, just as you said in the morning that you don't want any decisions in the morning, right? So routine helps us to avoid unnecessary irritation by making the decision you're not supposed to. How does that sound?
That sounds convincing. I read somewhere last week, I guess, that a teacher normally makes a decision every 15 seconds during the class.
Ouch.
If you do that professionally, then in your daily routines, you don't want to make so many decisions. It's tiring. It is really. That's why maybe a job of a teacher is so tiring, maybe more tiring than other jobs, than some other jobs in which you don't have to make decisions so often. And then if you do this as part of your profession on a regular basis, then you don't want to make decisions about when you go grocery shopping every time. You just plan it for a certain period of time and you do that regularly without thinking, because you once decided that going grocery shopping once every dot time is enough, and you do that, except for some special occasions. But you tend to have these routines that don't stress you out by constant making decisions and being spontaneous about what you do during the day. That's too much. That's why routines are helpful. They don't wear us out so much.
One of the ways to treat anxiety and depression is to take people out of their environment, which made them tired and depressed, into some kind of a sanitary or some kind of a center where you don't need to make decisions what to wear, what to eat, when to eat, where to sit, and so on. So basically, by eliminating these everyday decisions, as far as I know, this is kind of a treatment for the people who are worn out emotionally or mentally. And therefore, knowing that we can as well during our days to take a portion of unnecessary routine decisions. That's why I hate Netflix. I'm sorry to say that aloud, but all those fairs and endless platforms where you spend more time on choosing what to watch than watching a film. So that is tiring because you're making decisions every swap you make. I don't really like it. I don't want to spend so much time wasting my time on making a decision what to watch. Either I want to watch a specific film and I'm trying to find where I can watch it legally, or if I'm going to the cinema at 6 o'clock to watch this specific film. I'd better just put a jazz playlist, which I don't need to choose again. So I'm just listening to the jazz and making myself comfortable. That's my recipe not to get stressed in the evening.
In between, getting back to ancient philosophers, know yourself. Step one, knowing myself, I expected that I would be extremely tired and worn out in the evening if I didn't have an afternoon nap. I had 2 long lessons in the morning from 9 to 12. And then I was supposed to have other lessons starting at around 2 p.m. till 5, and then more lessons in the evening. Having that lunch break and living not far from the language school, what I had planned before, the night before, I had already planned the following day. I expected I would be extremely tired if I didn't have that afternoon nap. So I planned for those 20 minutes of a nap. I set my alarm clock when I got back after the first lessons. I took that 20-minute nap, which based on neuroscience is a good choice. And I had already tried that before, so I knew it would work. I felt so refreshed. Then I had lunch. Then I got back to the language school, had more lessons, got back home, had more lessons yet, and felt okay. In order to have this experience, as I said, you should know yourself, know how much resource you have, and take this into consideration when you plan your day. And then one more important thing, when you mentioned swapping and choosing something to watch, to read, instead of spending that time, I would even say wasting that time on useless swapping, take an afternoon nap. Restore your energy when otherwise you wouldn't have enough energy to live through the day, to be energetic enough to share your energy with your students later. So this is another important tip that I give myself as a teacher and could share with others.
Yes, in case this is something that your body sees as a recharge, as recharging your body, then this is a valid way to do. What I normally really love and always try, since I remember, I've always been trying to do, is to have a longer walk between two different places where I work. So, for example, when I worked at the academy and I had to go to the office, so it's just 20 minutes walk if the weather is not nasty. What really energized me and still does is just to have a walk through the city, to see the trees, to see the snow, to see the sky, the clouds, living this walk through, so trying to get all the thoughts from the previous workplace and not letting the thoughts from the further workplace. So I'm not normally planning what I'm going to do or say. At least I try to hush those thoughts when I'm doing this 20 minutes walk. So most probably this is very similar to what you do with an app. So you're just cutting out the streams of thinking about the previous activity and the following activity, right? I do remember that if there is an opportunity to have some kind of a sports activity, had always had a fantastic impact on my feeling, right? So I remember since the very first year I started teaching, I had an opportunity to do twice per week a session, 2 or 3 hour session doing the volleyball, which is a team's activity, which I totally switch off my thinking and my planning, my worrying, my anxiety about the classes I had and the classes I'm about to have the next day. So this is completely different activity. It is a full body involvement, but also on the pitch, you communicate with the people around. You're trying to be fully present, not to miss the ball, not to miss the eye contact, not to to make every movement correct, to learn every movement, to be efficient. And then later, in a couple of years, I added up one more training in badminton, which is an amazingly quick sport. So you are not having the capacity to think during, to plan and analyze and predict. So all this is just like lightning, because this is the quickest sport in the world, the pace in which you are making the decisions. And this is a beautiful thing, because when you are learning and mastering this particular sport, your body and your thinking is so totally in this activity that there is no way you can be thinking about what to say on the tomorrow's teachers meeting.
While you were saying this, I recalled a question that one of psychotherapists I translated was asked in the end of a very long and tiring day full of sessions live at that time. Lots of illustrations of how group work as well as individual work goes on, as well as some theoretical parts. In the end of a very long day, she was asked, how come aren't you tired? You look so full of energy. How come are you not tired? And she said, well, just because I am in the flow every single moment. I don't think about other issues. When I'm telling this, I'm just telling this. When I'm working with a client, I'm just working with a client. When I'm illustrating some theory with practical work, I'm just doing that. I don't think about anything that does not belong here. That's why even a long day of work is not so tiring as if you were thinking about other things at the same time, which is distracting. You're not completely present here. You cannot do anything of what you're thinking about, and it's also distressing. So the best way not to be worn out in the end of a long day is just to be present every minute. This is what you said about your mornings when you don't combine different sorts of activities. That's also key to success.
And that's what I find so beautiful doing sports and doing active, quick-paced sports, because that is a beautiful illustration how to shut the mind out.
And just do one thing at a time.
We're multitasking so much, and you said that we were making 15 decisions or what?
No, a decision every 15 seconds in class.
This is already multitasking. So I'm thinking about the content, I'm thinking about the students, how they perceive the content, how am I delivering the content, how am I organizing the flow, the collaboration, what to do next, so many things at a time. But all the other time, I guess, yeah, it's my choice to prevent burning out by not making the decisions at or multitasking at other times.
When it's not necessary, when it's not part of your workflow. Do you think this can also apply to learners, to students?
Of course, yes, because it doesn't matter what we do if we are 100% fully in what we're doing.
So if we try a bit to look at our day as teachers and see which of these can be useful and can apply to other teachers and also to students who want to have some takeaway of our episode today. Morning routines, even earlier, planning the following day on the night before when we go to bed, allowing for enough sleep, planning what time to wake up, and then just doing our morning routines without making new decisions every time. Enjoying your morning, not combining morning activities with work-related or study-related stuff, just not to interrupt this flow of enjoying your morning. Relaxing, tuning to the day, and then starting your work-related or study routines, which if they are organized as routines, you've got your timetable, or you know that anyway you study or you work from to with some breaks that allow you to recharge. Being in the flow and not being distracted every moment you work or study, after which in the evening, not swapping, not making many different choices instead of just enjoying the activity that you like.
Perfect summary.
How can this relate to other teachers, you believe, to learners?
In this very way, it refers to not only teachers, not only learners, not only, I don't know, this would refer to anyone who is caring about how they feel during the day and who is responsible for the performance. Most of professions require that you are 100% ready to do what you're good at. It doesn't really matter which profession it is. For the learners, however, there is time to become professionals, right? There is the way ahead them. So they're learning how they are reacting, they're learning what is the best time for their studying, what is the best time, like how do they perform, how do they get prepared. When we are young, we are challenging our sleeping routine by going out, having, I don't know, parties, disco, or anything, because we want to challenge what our bodies are capable of. And it takes a couple of years to become professional in knowing yourself. For the learners, I guess there are so many tips how to get prepared well for the exam, right? So to sleep before, not to think, not to to hush down the anxiety. But I guess for this gray, dark November, October, November, December days, there is a bit of the other tips that I would probably recommend. I have my favorite teacup, which was a present for a Teacher's Day, I don't know, maybe 7 years ago. That was a student who passed the IELTS exam and was so happy that she brought me a cup which says, to the best teacher, which is obviously a non-grammatical perfection. But for me, this is something that was chosen specifically for me, that was very warmly presented, that I keep as a memory, that I brought here to Germany with me. I brought this cup to Kiev when I relocated to Kiev. I brought this cup from Kiev to Berlin when I relocated here. That is a very special one. So when I have it next to my computer and I'm doing the virtual classes, it always warms me up when I'm holding this cup. So when I feel that I'm tired or, need a couple of more energy bars in my recharge, so I'm just holding it, warming my hands with this, and I have this support feeling that I'm doing fine. I'm a good teacher. Everything's good. I have people who support me and so on. So these little things, I don't know, maybe like symbols, something that keeps you together. Yeah, something that you believe in.
A souvenir that we bring from places that we visited and liked maybe has the same function. And this is also something that can make us feel warm on a cold autumn or winter day if we have some memory that we brought from somewhere. Especially precious if it's also appreciation of your work that can support you in your work routine.
Yeah.
You're not just working, you know that in the end of some journey together with your students, this is the appreciation that you get.
Then I had this little touch of appreciation every time I need it. So, of course, I have a lot of different cups. I don't know, when I'm having a webinar or when I'm having some specific event or tiring day, I have it I have it handy, so I put it somewhere so that I can see at least. The very same happens with my thermal cup, and a lot of my students are joking so many times about that if they were making a portrait, a funny portrait of me, that would be with my thermal teacup, because for the last 5-7 years, wherever I go to the classroom, I mean physical classroom in the university, I always have my teacup with me. During the summer, it might be just water with tonic. In the cold weather, I always like to have my cup with me with my tea in it. I really want it to be the same part of the support energy and something that I chose. So I normally do not drink the tea from the supermarket, because I think I deserve what I like. But in the same time, I know that making the regular sips of a warm liquid really helps our throat when we're speaking, right? So we have the extra pressure. So that's why you normally would see me giving a lecture in a scarf, and with a teacup.
So that's again about teacher self-care very much, to a very big extent, and we cannot overestimate really how important teacher self-care is, as well as students' self-care.
True.
Coming to a lesson when you didn't sleep well, not being concentrated, being tired, being not feeling not fit, being not present, and spending your time somewhere where you're not mentally present is also against this feeling of student self-care. So our tip for students would also be take care of your learner well-being. Prepare yourself to the day of learning. Be in good shape to acquire the knowledge you came for. Be tuned, stay tuned to the learning process. Choose what you want to learn today and be tuned to what you chose. Take care of yourself. Bring a cup of tea, coffee, a bottle of water, what you need to the classroom with you, so that during a break you can treat yourself with something that helps you feel good. Take a lunchbox with you if you have a long day at university or at college. Take care of yourself. Don't forget that it's not just going to university, going to school, going to college. It's living. As we always say, live and learn. Don't forget, you don't only learn, you live and learn. So take care of how you live, take care of how you learn. And so it will also work for you, not just in the exam time that we spoke about earlier, but also on a daily basis and on cold days as well. Then what other tips do you think can be useful exactly in this period of time when we don't feel motivated because there is little sunshine, because the weather is not so good, because it's often gray and cold? What else can help, do you believe?
Science is a good helper because there are loads and loads of researchers who are doing their job to protect you, to make you feel better, and to give you knowledge how to overcome these dark days. One of the recent research, one of my friends, I would say, the people I do follow very closely on Facebook, is a doctor of biology, and she's doing the circadian rhythms and circannual rhythms, the rhythms, the inner rhythms in our body work. And also she's really interested in sleep and light, how they are connected. Making a little summary from Dr. Maslova, Olga Maslova, there is a couple of the tips that science gives us, which are proved on a good number, provable number of respondents. The first thing is that as we do not get enough light during this autumn and winter time, it's really important that light gets into our eyes specifically, but also on our skin. The newest research says that we really need to have this extra light getting, like not wearing the glasses to protect our eyes from the light, but also specific number of photons has to come through our eyes inside to get us energized. Well, not every day we have sun, but nowadays we have the specific light that you can buy and put into your lamp wherever you are, and get at least 20-30 minutes of this light, not directly to you, but covering you, not the shade out of this light, but to be directly under the light of specific lens. Please do research and follow that, because this is a super cool tip. If this is a natural light, of course it is better. But now we have a possibility to get ourselves covered. So when you're having the breakfast, and you're enjoying your cup of tea or coffee, you can be doing this under this specific light, knowing that this will give you this energy for the year, for the day. Of course, we have these rhythms during the day, during the months, during the year. So it's always nice to be self-aware, where are you and how to get even more efficient if you are full of energy, and not get this energy out of yourself, like holding your energy to yourself and using it in the best appropriate way. But also when you're low in energy, to know what works for you, what works, what your body wants. And the third topic that she's doing, this is how aroma impacts your mood. So she is gathering a lot of research in different aromatic and hormonal aromatherapy, aroma that impacts the serotonin production or all the other hormones. So you can just have a little smell, wear this scented water. For example, if you are going to work, or if you're going to gather in this and just put in a little bit of the aromatic oils, which were known for centuries, right? That's not a new thing. It's always been there, but now we have our science covered us with this, and this always helps, that boosts your energy. And sometimes it's a very good thing to just wake up naturally, just with a little boost of a aroma. Actually, by the way, that's what I normally suggest to the students, is to get yourself a lemon into your backpack, and every time you feel low, just to scratch the peel, and then you have enough essential oil, natural, very fresh, to just boost you up for the next 40 minutes or so. So if you're having a test, that's a great thing, as well as just like getting a chocolate or getting a protein bar with you. And if you know that, okay, you had a long day and then you have a test, so you understand that you will be already tired. It's a nice thing to get your backpack prepared. Protein bar, yeah, now is in every supermarket. A lemon, easy. A banana, just to get yourself fed. Tea or water, and you're all backed.
And then again, know yourself, know what your diet consists of, because also I believe that just general recommendations like a lemon or a banana would not suit everyone. But if each of us knows the peculiarities of our own diets, so then we know what we need, at which time of day we need it. Get your backpack ready. Know yourself and be prepared to live this day of learning as suits you.
We've got a nice trio of tips list. So the first list was how to get your routine working for you, not against you. The second list of routines, how to be all the day long fully present and fully getting your self-care, not forgetting yourself in this equation of working, sleeping, living balance. And the third list of tips for the learners and teachers equally, how to get yourself sustained and how to get yourself boosted, if you need this boost right now, or if you know you would need this boost at a specific time of the day. Sounds like a good list to me.
Absolutely. Use scientific tips as well to get support, because then you know you are not just following somebody else's advice, but you use the new research that scientists have been working on to give you this scientific support on your way to living and learning healthily and successfully.
So get prepared to live and learn.
Curious about what we discussed next? Please subscribe to Live and Learn podcast and join our community on social networks. Live and learn.